Hello, wherever you are. This is a practice for perpetual soreness. As we are in the middle of March and all the things that are going on in the world, and here in Central Florida, it's a really blustery, windy day. We're getting the end of those storms that blew across the southeast, causing a lot of damage. And I thought it would be a good day to do a practice with some stretching and some nourishing for the soreness we encounter in our body, as well as in our spirit and mind. And may it bring you peace and some healing. We're going to start standing. So the first thing that I do to assess how sore I am is I do a little range of motion. So I'm going to stand with my hips I'm going to stand with my feet under my hips. And I'm going to soften my knees and just try to find a center here that I can move about my body and see my soreness. And I'm going to give myself a little assessment up and down from the top of my head to get that alignment and see where I'm feeling a little bit gripping. And soreness, I think, is a reflection of inflammation in the body, as well as a reaction to great change, which is what March seems to bring with its storms. And so that soreness that we feel doesn't always go away. So I want to just see where it moves on a day-to-day basis. So just standing nice and tall, I feel the wind blowing, and I'm just going to let that inform the movement here, just to bring myself present, growing feet into my feet, so I'm really rooted. Lifting the crown of my head up, extending it towards the horizon. And then I'm just going to take a deep breath in, let my hands come up, and notice anything that happens in the shoulders. And from here, I'm going to drop the shoulders down, soften the knees. And as I start to bend the knees down, I'm going to inhale and stand up, and I'm going to exhale and sit back down into this little squatty position. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. And one more. Inhale up. As I exhale, I'm going to float the arms down, fold forward, walk forward, and assess here. Let the head hang. You could clasp the elbows or give yourself support. I like to shift my weight between the front and the back of the feet, and then spread my toes nice and wide, wiggle my butt, just to see where the soreness resides. And when I'm ready, I'm going to roll up one vertebrae at a time. One of the wonderful things about practicing in the elements is the element of surprise and life happening around you, and adjusting to that. And listening to the inside of the body rather than the external sounds, although that helps the practice a little bit. Bringing the feet together, I'm going to do that again. I'm going to bend the knees slightly, soften, find that equal balance, and lift the arms up. And hold there, and I'm going to inhale up and exhale down. Inhale up. And exhale down, being super gentle about where my knees go. They're tracking where it doesn't cause any resistance. I'm not going too deep. And holding here, taking the hands back to the back, and then just kind of find your hips with the arms. And as you inhale, stand up and let the chest open to the sky. As you exhale, go ahead and fold down, let the hands fold forward, and again, with support or without, just kind of rocking back and forth into the feet, wiggling a little bit, settling into that forward fold, letting go, noticing whatever you feel, and then taking your time to roll up one more time, all the way up. And then roll the shoulders back and kind of notice what that feels like. And roll them forward. And roll them back. And roll them forward. And then take your feet wide. So One of the things I miss about CrossFit is that perpetual soreness that you feel in your body when you're doing great things with it, and feels like you're at least taking action and moving things, maybe off the ground, but it feels like it's always in the right direction. So I'm going to use that to see how my body feels. So I'm going to do a CrossFit Air Squat, and a CrossFit Air Squat is done a little wider than hip width apart. You want to keep the feet flat on the floor, so you only want to go as far as the feet stay on the floor, and you want to keep and maintain that stability in your spine that we just achieved just doing the simple bending. So you could only go this far and keep everything in alignment, or if you know an air squat, you can go all the way down, but we're going to do some things with our arms. So you can also turn the feet out slightly to do this, but you really want to stay rooted, so you don't have to go as deep as me. But what I want to look at is I'm going to do 3 little air squats, and the first time I'm going to lift the right arm overhead, the second time I'm going to lift the left arm overhead, and I might stop in between because I can feel that my shoulder clicks a little bit here, so I might not go up as high there. And then I'm going to lift both arms overhead, and I'm going to try to keep my chest up, but I'm also going to let it drop if it needs to, just to see what it feels like in my knees and my body. What I'm trying to notice is, do I have soreness deep in my lats? Do I have something going on in my shoulder? So it's just to assess my body and where the soreness is. So here we go. So the first one, and then the second one, and then the third one. And then I let my breath just kind of naturally fall out. And I'm going to come to a seated position now. So I lifted little weights before this just to see how I would feel, what would need to be stretched if I was going to teach a stretch class, which I am tomorrow. I'm going to teach a yoga tomorrow. So I wanted to see what I could put together, because I don't experience that same kind of perpetual soreness, but I do experience soreness that affects my movement in my mind and in my spirit sometimes. And as is with anything, we learn to keep going, and we learn to nurture ourselves, and I hope this practice nurtures you and gives you what you need for a stretch. So from here, I feel pretty warm, so I'm going to warm up a little bit more by going around. And as I go around my body, I'm going to let my body do whatever it needs to do in whatever position. So I chose a seated pose here. You could choose something other than that. And I'm going to let the whir of the air condition structure this movement. I can feel the heat in my body rising from those squats. And I can feel the energy under my armpits where my shoulder blades rotated up in that squat, trying to stabilize my thoracic. And I'm going to let the breath just settle into the movement, neither holding my breath nor structuring it any particular way. You can hear the bird in the background cheeping. The power of life within a workout is a great way to ease soreness. So as I come forward, I'm going to take it in the other direction. And now I'm going to add a little bit more purpose. So I'm going to really use my body to round my spine and accentuate the crevices that feel like they need a little extra something here. And I'm going to bring my awareness to the breath. And as I inhale, I'm going to come forward and breathe in through the tip of the nose. As I exhale, I'll breathe out through the tip of the nose. And I'm going to take that breath on the inhale and bring it all the way up to the third eye. On the exhale, I'm going to loop it down into the heart and back out through the nose. Inhaling and exhaling, and let your Eyes close as you do this. Become in tune with the breath. And as you come forward, inhale, blink the eyes open. Exhale, come back. And we're going to roll the shoulders again. Roll them back. Roll them forward. Releasing the breath, letting it come naturally. And we're going to take it back. Hold it back. Take the hands behind you. Fingertips point away. And then lift up towards the sky. Inhale. Exhale. Take a nice deep breath in. Inhale. And as you exhale, go ahead and walk down and forward. Let your head relax. Support yourself however you need to. Stretch the arms out if you want. Let the head hang. And when you're ready, walk up. And when you get to the top, we're going to do some stretchy stretches. So we're going to take the left leg out and the right leg in close to the thigh. If you can't get the leg this close to the thigh, then you can use it in any position. I have definitely had one leg out. It's not quite the same stretch, but you do what you got to do when you're sore. And you can also prop yourself up. So if you have something higher or lower, you can prop yourself up. I have some blocks here. I might sit on a block or a blanket just to get my rear up higher to help get into the hamstring on the extended leg, which is the left leg. And if you have trouble bending the knee here, so you can take, that might help with this. You can also prop the knee up. That's another alternative. And so I'm going to put a little flex in my foot. So I'm putting a little flex in my foot, and I'm not too wide. I'm probably at a 90-degree angle here. So if I look down, it's maybe, about 90 degrees. 45 if this is 90. But this is a 90-degree angle. I'm going to take a deep breath in and really root down into the ground. I want to feel that connection. Maybe there's a bend in this knee. I'm going to walk down with a very open heart. And once I find that position, I'm going to walk my hands over slightly to the right and drop my elbow into the inside of the thigh or inside of the calf. And I'm going to inhale and bring my hand to my heart and let the heart open towards the sky. Maybe looking up. If it bothers you, look down. That also feels really nice. So let's try that. Inhale, looking up. Exhale, looking down. Inhale, looking up. Exhale, looking down. Inhale, just bring the head to neutral. Keep the ears away from the shoulders, and we're going to lift that right arm up as high as we can. Make a fist by tucking in the thumb, and we're going to rotate the wrist. And if you feel good here, you can look up at it, but if it bothers your neck or shoulder, just let that stretch happen across the pec by taking the hands a little bit back, and then take them in the opposite direction. And then gently pull in the lower belly if it's not already in there. And then open the hand up. Inhale, look up at it. And exhale, take it behind you to the lower back. Palm faces away. Inhale here and exhale deeply. We're going to take one more deep breath in, and then we're going to use that arm that's on the floor to rotate over the extended leg. So inhale, And as you exhale, I'm going to put a little weight into that arm, and I'm going to rotate over the leg and fold down over it, releasing completely into this posture. You can also prop yourself here, and now you'll really feel the hamstring. Take some long, deep breaths in here, and you can practice that breathing. So staying in this forward bent position, I'm going to take an inhale, and as I inhale, I'm going to take it from the tip of my nose up to the third eye. And then in my head, I do a little loop-de-loop to the back of my brain, but it's kind of like a little, like just a little one, not like a big one sweeping, but just a little one, and back down into the heart and loop back out through the nose. That's the picture. I picture the energy, and I try to get in that space when I breathe. It's a particular type of breathing that I learned through meditation, and I'm probably not giving the full depth of it, but it works really well to let go of tension and soreness and transition, back into the world. And then I like to plant my hands on the ground and inhale to emerge back up. We have a respite from the rain. There's a beautiful blue sky. Bring that other leg in and switch sides. So we're on the right side now. I'm a little bit more flexible on this side, so I'm going to sit on my heels to give me a little bit more grounding. And if that's not possible, again, you're going to prop your knee. There's a little bend in this leg here, and I'm going to take the cushion out from under me. But you can always use it, and note that one side is always going to be different than the other side. So I tried to let that go a long time ago because I can't be, through injury. If you're right side, if you can't walk on the right side, you're probably not going to be able to do certain things on the right side. And but you can still practice. So note that. And we're going to lift up nice and tall, center over, and it's almost like I want to push my lower belly, like I'm almost resisting going down without like arching the back too much, not too dramatic, but like a beautiful wave rolling out, going down forward, and then trying to find that centeredness by rooting my tailbone deeply. And then I'm going to walk my hands over to the left so they're on the inside, and I'm going to dig my elbow in, and I can get to the floor, but sometimes I use a block here. You can do it to the inner thigh, and I'm using that as an anchor to push my right leg into my right elbow or tricep. And I'm going to inhale and take my hand to the heart. And so here I can feel that I'm tight on this side, so I'm going to bring it up a little bit. Take a couple of breaths here. Inhale, looking up. Exhale, looking down. Inhale, looking up. And exhale, looking down. Inhale, looking up. I'm going to stay here and lift the arm up, maybe looking out if I need to. Roll the thumb into the palm of the hand, wrap the fingers around tight fists and circles here. Really rooting my tailbone down. I can feel my sacrum kind of shift, and the sacrum's like a little triangle, so I try to point it like straight into the ground and take the wrist the opposite way. And then looking up, reach that arm up. We're going to float it behind us, and so it looks really easy here, but I want to keep everything nice and open. So the camera is deceptive. You might have to take it out to the side, and I'm going to take the back of my hand to my sacrum there, and I'm just going to point my hand downward and try to kind of lengthen up into that. And take a nice deep breath in, feeling the pecs really like open and stretch, drawing the shoulder blade down and the knitting the rib cage together here. And take a nice deep breath in. And as you exhale, slowly descend to the other side. And I shifted a lot, so I'm going to go really carefully here. Take a deep breath in and fold down over the leg. Relaxing here deeply, maybe going into that breath. And then when you're ready, inhale to come back up gently and slowly. And now we're going to transition to a seated position. And we're doing that so that we can kind of gather that energy that we created or that we released. So for me, that was very intense, and I'm feeling kind of nauseous. And I've noticed that when I do breath work like that, with some stretching, that will sometimes happen with me as I release out things that no longer serve me, thankfully. And so we come into a seated position just to gather that. So I'm going to rub my hands together and feel my realness. A very, very good practice in the morning or at night before you go to bed to feel your realness. So get that friction going. Feel the heat that you generate as a person. And know you're not alone in that. We all generate heat. It's what we do with it. To me, that matters. So why not affirm ourselves, right? Just take that to the heart center and just gently press on the heart center. And I invite you to feel your heartbeat here and try to take your breath with the heartbeat for a moment amidst the change in weather here in Central Florida and maybe where you live too. And bringing that awareness back into the room, open your eyes, and we're going to do a few neck circles, and then we'll lay down on our back. So just bring the chin to the chest, and then gently rotate the head around in either direction. And again, I invite you to notice those areas where you might have tension or holding, and as you rotate the neck, it can be any circle. It does not have to be the realm of the universe. It can be whatever your range of motion is. And let that space be as small as it needs to be to facilitate your healing and lubricate you into movement that serves your highest purpose. As you come around with your chin down, linger there for a moment. Don't reverse directions yet. Just let the chin linger down there. Take a couple of breaths here. And if you can feel a tightness or pulling in your spine, bring your body a little bit more upright. Bring your head a little higher. Hold it up. Take some deep breaths in. Let the stretch kind of dissolve down your spine, so no tension or holding. And bring one hand to the forehead, and you're just going to press your head back up. and then release the hand out. We're going to take it in the opposite direction, but we're going to take the head to the opposite shoulder in the direction. So I went clockwise, and it looked counterclockwise for you. So now I'm going to take my, what looks like my left ear to my left shoulder and begin the circle from the other way. And when I first do this, I do it really slowly. Letting that break and that blue sky just be what it is and enjoy it for that moment that we get to move about ourselves. Chin comes down, rest it there again. We're going to take a couple of breaths here. Maybe notice if there's a little bit of lightness, a little less tightness of heat generated here. And then take the right hand to the heart. It's going to be opposite me. And take the left hand to the third eye with the first two fingers. And just go ahead and push the head back up. Stay here for just a moment. Take some breaths here. And as you breathe, picture the breath again from the tip of the nose up to the third eye where your two fingers are, looping around that and back down into the heart. And when you're ready, release the hand. So we're going to go down onto our back. And before we do that, we're going to stretch the shoulders. So we're going to open up the thoracic by stretching the shoulders. And I invite you to practice nonviolent communication with your body on this. And know that deeper isn't necessarily better. It's just deeper. And if your body's not ready for it, it's going to react negatively. So through practices like this, usually you'll learn where that is. If you're a tight person, it doesn't affect you as much as it does if you're someone who prides themselves on being flexible. So I think there's a Bible verse about that, but I don't remember what it was, so I won't say it. So we're going to take the hand that's closest to me, and we're going to thread it underneath. And what we do underneath is up to us. So I'm going to suggest that you give your hand that's down firmly on the floor, use that to guide you. I often use it to push against the earth and feel my earthiness. So wherever the hand goes, feel like you're growing roots evenly out of the whole length of the arm. So I'll demonstrate. One arm goes out. We're going to thread it under the body and lay on that shoulder. So if you're just laying on that shoulder, it's probably not the best thing. So I'm using my support arm to push me up. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to let my head rest gently on the floor. And oftentimes, if I just draw my chin in gently towards my chest, that's good enough here for me to feel the stretch in the back of my shoulders. And I haven't done anything with my hips other than let them shift where they need to be. So I can feel roots in my knees, but my little toes are like not rooted. So this is good enough for me, but in yoga classes you'll often see someone kick a foot out into their hand. You'll see people wrap their arm around them, and all that stuff is fine if you want to do that. I'm able to do that, but for this stretch, to be safe, I'm going to stay right here and try to like grow roots from the arm. So my little arm, I think of it as like a hedgerow, and just try to grow roots on every part of my arm into the earth. And then I'm going to take the extended hand, I'm going to put the thumb into the palm, wrap my fingers around, make a fist, and as I come up, I'm going to place that fist on the earth. And then I'm going to take the other one and make the same fist, and I'm just going to press into the earth here. And I have a lot of weight into my hands. I could probably do a push-up here, and sometimes I do. This is just to like kind of get my arms and my shoulders locked in and readjust. So I want to be really firm on my hands, so I'm locking my shoulders in to give me that stability, and it really feels like it readjusts my shoulders when I do this. So I often do this after a weightlifting move or after I swing on something. Taking hands down, place them flat, and then we're going to repeat it to the other side. Thread the other arm underneath. Again, I'm going to use that standing arm, and I'm going to try to grow roots out of this arm, letting my hips shift whichever direction I need them to. Place your thumb into your palm, wrap the fingers around it. And then coming back up, placing that hand down. Might feel a little different on this side. Sometimes it does. And then the other hand, same thing. And again, putting a little weight here, locking my shoulders back, extending through the neck, trying to get a good alignment without tension. So I shake my head, yes and no. No, 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 no. Practicing the language of consent is a form of nonviolent communication. And I'm going to plant the hands down again. And sit back into child's pose. And when you're ready, we're going to make our way onto our back for a little bit more stretching and settling in. And then I'm going to leave you in Shavasana. This will be a pre-recorded Earth Mother Yoga. It is Saturday right now, so I will be doing something on Sunday. And so when you see this, it may be sunny by then, hopefully. If you live in Florida, there might be some sun. So we're going to lay back and bring the knees up to the chest. I'm spreading my shoulder blades. That was pretty intense. Taking my hands to my chest just to open it, lengthen my neck through the out. And then if you're not able to bring your knees up like this, then you could have them propped on something. For me, this is a very stabilized position. Feels really good on my lower back and on my sacrum. And letting me open my chest here with the safety of the earth underneath me. And I'm just seeking to get the back of my heart on the floor. Take the feet up to the sky. And so let's practice a little breathing here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my left hand on the heart. So I'm opening up and breathing into my heart. So I'm going to take the breath deep, deep, deep. I'm going to take my right hand on the lower belly with my feet up in the air. And if you need to bend the knees, you could do that. So my feet are up in the air and I have it on my lower belly. And I'm really feeling rooted here. I'm going to take the breath deep into my belly as I inhale. And as I exhale, I'm going to exhale, let the right hand in the lower belly go down, and then let the solar plexus go down, and let the heart melt into the floor. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. heart, solar plexus, belly. Exhale, belly, solar plexus, heart. Inhale. And exhale. Take the hands off and then make those fists again. We're going to take them over the head and rotate them around while we rotate our feet. We can hear all the cracking. And then take them in the opposite direction, and you can get the forearms and elbows in. And to me, this feels so delicious. Oh my God, I love this. Still being aware of our belly and in between the shoulder blades. Relaxing the neck and the jaw. Of course, if your legs are tight, your legs might be shaking a little bit. That's pretty normal. And then flick them a little bit. And the knees back in. Hug your nose to the knees. Rock, if you want, side to side just a little bit. And forward and back if you want. And we're going to bring the knees up to the chest, but take our hands on the thighs. So I'm going to push my thighs into my hands here. Really, really push. As I do that, I'm also going to push my lower back into the floor. And I'm going to try to breathe at the same time. So pushing with the thighs into the hands, hands pushing into the thighs, pushing the lower belly in and breathing. And take a deep breath in, hold the breath. Release the legs, keep the breath in. Exhale and release the legs down. Stretch the legs out, turn the palms out, and take some deep breaths in here. Kind of do a mental scan of your body. And as you settle into Shavasana, take this time to let things be what they are. Let the breath come and go like the breeze, bringing the necessary change to keep us alive and well and healthy. Caressing our skin. We're telling us it's time to go inside. And I leave you here in Shavasana. May your practice be blessed with the abundance of love and compassion that we deserve to see in the world. And the door may clatter, but sometimes you got to open it in the storm. So I hope that this practice helps stretch and release some of the perpetual soreness that we have in the world. May you be blessed.